Sign scandal has a Sacramento political leader facing some questions this evening. This after amateur video showing his chief of staff apparently stealing an opponent's campaign sign.
Furious after some of her campaign signs were pulled from the ground by her competition.
Yeah, the clip is very clear. 38 seconds, someone picking up this sign, walking it over to this area, and then just giving it a toss behind these bushes. The question now, was this an act of protection of the public good? Was it a silly prank or a desperation act by a campaign aide for incumbent city council member Ray Tretheway?
What Councilman Ray Tretheway wanted to be talking about during his campaign.
No, it is all about the spin, though. Tonight, the councilman says his people were actually doing a good deed.
Less than 2 months from the June elections, and one of the races for the Sacramento City Council has taken a bizarre turn. A campaign worker for incumbent councilman Ray Tretheway of Natomas was caught on camera removing his opponent's sign straight from the ground.
In this video posted on YouTube, you see two men, Corin Choppin, who manages City Councilman Ray Tretheway's re-election campaign, and Dan Roth, a city employee. Roth is Tretheway's district director. Both are under fire for removing and tossing campaign signs belonging to challenger Angelique Ashby.
I'm really disgusted by it. I don't think anything like that should happen.
Roth would not speak on camera, but told KCRA3 by phone that placing signs on public property violates city code. He said, quote, "We received a complaint Friday from a constituent about them. The complaint was sent to 311.
I guess you can say whatever you want to say, right? You can make any claim that you want. My understanding and my reading of the city code is that we were fine. It's a
the two men you see in this video are Dan Roth, the chief of staff for Ray Tretheway's office. He's in the blue shirt. The other person is Corin Choppin. He's working on Tretheway's campaign, and he's the one who pulled the signs out of the ground.
We just got the lawn signs a couple of days ago. Very excited to get them out in the community.
Which is exactly what the Ashby campaign has been doing. And it's those signs that have caused all this trouble. It happened yesterday, the groundbreaking of a brand new fire station in Natomas. Keith Sharward was sitting at a red light when some well-placed Angelique Ashby yard signs were being removed and tossed into the bushes.
So I immediately grabbed my little cheap pocket camera and set it to video mode and hit go as quick as I could to try and capture the rest.
And it wasn't so much the removal of the signs that grabbed his attention, but who was doing the removing.
And it turns out that it was Ray Tretheway's key chief of staff, essentially, his district director, and then somebody I later discovered is affiliated with the campaign staff.
The man who actually is pulling the signs up is Corin Choppin, and the other, though he didn't pull any signs, just watched, is indeed District Director Dan Roth.
I don't think that type of campaigning is what's in the best interest of the city of Sacramento.
Choppin claims in published reports he was doing Ashby a favor because the signs were illegally placed.
They were in a common space, and they weren't an obstruction in any way for traffic or foot traffic or anything else.
All right, now we tried to contact Mr. Choppin. He's the sign puller. We also tried to contact the company that he works for, Capital Campaigns. We got no response there. Mr. Tretheway, meantime, is in New Mexico apparently for a wedding, and we do know that Ms. Ashby has said that there is word that Mr. Tretheway may be issuing some sort of an apology when he gets back. We'll wait and see.
Picked up the firefighter sign and then just haphazardly tossed them on the ground behind the bush.
Councilman Tretheway said an ordinance prohibits campaign signs from blocking pathways.
I'm pretty certain what I've heard from people that it's definitely in the public right-of-way.
As you can see, the signs are back up, but judge for yourself if it's blocking the pathway. Ashby said what should have been done was to simply leave her signs alone.
I don't think that they in any way helped themselves by entering into the landscaping, removing the signs and throwing them behind a bush. I'm not sure that that's the correct form of enforcement, even if we were not compliant.
In that left-turn pocket over there.
The signs were put up by Ashby supporter Keith Sharward, who also shot the video of them being torn down.
I just thought it was a really weak move. they don't have to stoop to that level. We're just trying to do this honestly, and they could do the same if they chose to.
A complaint about campaign signs made to the city's 311 number would typically not be investigated by the staff of an incumbent city council member running for office, but rather by the city's code enforcement division. Now, it remains to be seen whether that will happen. It also remains to be seen whether another investigative body might look into Tretheway's campaigners removing those signs.
I don't know how you could think you were not being watched. I'm not certain what they were thinking at all. I have hundreds of volunteers that work on this campaign, and I can't imagine any one of them doing any such thing.
Councilman Tretheway is out of state for a wedding. He said once he returns to Sacramento, he will make it his priority to sit down with his staff and go over proper campaign procedures.
All right, Ro, as you know, as we get into campaign mode, sign tampering becomes more common. It's really only a crime if signs are vandalized or stolen. Sacramento police say sign stealing is usually considered petty theft. Punishments depend on the circumstances, but typically fines can reach up to $500. If charged as a misdemeanor, petty theft can carry up to 6 months in jail. Rick?